Hello and welcome to Showsters House, a show where we discuss issues that are driving the conversations in the country. And today you'll be glad to know that we are at Drug Enforcement Commission with the Commission's Public Relations Officer, Mr. Alan Tamba, who's actually welcomed us here to have a conversation with us and with you out here. Mr. Tamba, thank you so much for allowing us into your space today.
Thank you for coming. We look forward to your session, and we hope that somebody out there will be assisted.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. At a later stage, we'll be able to allow you to have a conversation with the Commission through Mr. Tamba, through the lines that we have provided on the screen. So you can keep them, and of course, we'll be able to let you know when you can come. Mr. Tamba, my first question would be, a lot of people just know DEC as people that arrest people. What is the general mandate for Drug Enforcement Commission, or DEC?
Initially, it would be important to appreciate the fact that the Commission is a creature of the Republican Constitution. When you look at the Constitution Amendment Act number 2 of 2016 of Zambia, Article 235B adequately identifies us as an investigative commission. As a matter of mandate, our mandate is to enforce the law on narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, as well as money laundering. That entails that we are there to prevent, control, and manage the production, cultivation, trafficking, and abuse of narcotic drugs, psychotropic substances, as well as precursor chemicals, and to prevent and prohibit money laundering activities. These provisions are adequately articulated under the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act number 35 of 2021 and the Prohibition and Prevention of Money Laundering Act number 14 of 2001 as amended by Act number 44 of 2010 of the Laws of the Republic of Zambia.
Okay.
So we have a three-pronged legislative approach. And what that does is that on one hand, we have drug demand reduction interventions. On the other hand, we have drug supply reduction interventions, which are supported by the anti-money laundering leg. Now, allow me to look at the drug demand reduction leg. So drug demand reduction basically looks at the provision of drug use prevention interventions in communities, in institutions of learning, and in the workplace. And that is at the level of primary health care. And in that space, we also have a legislative mandate to provide who are presenting with drug use disorders. Now, that is away from the criminal justice system. That is away from investigations, arrests, and prosecutions. And in doing so, we also do what we call family and parenting skills training programs. These are implemented in communities using established community structures such as churches, clubs, societies, as well as cooperatives. So parents, guardians, and carers for young people are equipped with the knowledge and skills that they need for them, one, to prevent the onset of substance use in the community. Secondly, to delay the onset of substance use disorders where substance use has already taken effect. We want to delay the progression from substance use to the actual development of drug use disorders such as schizophrenia and other related mental health conditionalities. And then finally, what we do is we provide medical management services in conjunction with the Ministry of Health. So where we end, the Ministry of Health comes in to provide specialized medical management services because they are the mandate holders in that regard. But we don't only collaborate with the Ministry of Health, we also have private service providers We have direct linkages with a Silver Lining Medical Center. We also work very well with Family Liberty. We work with the Great North Rehabilitation Center. We also have linkages with Teen Challenge. Other stakeholders include Serenity Wellness Center, Serenity Harm Reduction Program Zambia, to mention just a few.
So and by the way, I need to be careful. Mr. Tamba looks like he may answer all the questions in just one question, so I need to be interjecting. Doing your job very well as PR. How come because you've mentioned how you are into this rehabilitation and health and all those things. How come the prosecution, the arresting is more pronounced than these things?
I think it is
how much of it do you do?
I think it's about the public perception. It's about demand. In the past, we have been receiving a lot of press queries from media organizations asking us, following up on the investigations we have conducted. But it is incumbent upon the media to also take interest in success stories in as far as recovery is concerned. Is a recovery from drug dependency. It's important that the media takes keen interest in the success stories we have recorded. You may wish to note that on the Copper Belt province, specifically in Mufulira, we had the infamous 70 babies. These were young people, a gang group of young people who had been terrorizing members of the general public and inflicting untold misery upon them. What we did was that when we got hold of that information that there was such manner of a group, we deployed the same model that I mentioned, away from the criminal justice system, the counseling, treatment, rehabilitation, resettlement, reintegration, and the aftercare support. And what that did was that those young people who had since left their homes had the opportunity to rewrite their story, change their narrative, rebrand and relaunch themselves back into society. Those that had run away from school, discontinued their education, were reintegrated back into school. So it is important that the media and members of the general public appreciate the non-arresting, non-investigating side of our mandate, because we are cognizant of the fact that drug dependence is chronic and relapsing in nature, and therefore those that are struggling with drug dependence need to be provided with the services that they need in the comfort of their environments.
I wanted to find out, since you've mentioned the core belt, which towns have got high prevalence of drug dependence in the country?
What is important to appreciate is that substance use is a national phenomenon. It is of national scale. And literally in every district there is a community which is deemed as the epicenter of drug trafficking and abuse. And therefore, in our design of interventions, we have been very deliberate and intentional in terms of rolling out interventions that have a whole of society approach. The idea is that we should not leave anyone behind. And this is why in our development of pieces of legislation and policies, you may wish to note that we actually domesticated the Convention on Psychotropic Substances of 1971, the United Nations Convention Against Illicit Traffic in Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances of 1978, and the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime. But we have also domesticated the United Nations treatment guidelines relating to how we need to manage persons that are presenting with drug use disorders. So we have a whole of society approach, realizing that the people that we are dealing with are coming from a cross-section of society. There is this heterogeneity that we need to take care of in our programming, in the way we design our programs, in the way we design our services, so that they are demand-driven, scientific, and backed by evidence.
So I was following. At some point, you said something that really caught my attention. You said something like each towns have like a community that's like an epicenter. What community is it? Is that in Lusaka, for instance?
In Lusaka is very substance use seems to take a root.
Are places like Chibodia left to just do their thing, or there are certain intentional
Definitely
moves
not.
that you do?
If you look back, you realize that there's news everywhere relating to not only arrests but also interventions. And what is important to note is that the other non-criminal justice related interventions that we implement, some are done solely by our institution, but others are done jointly with other stakeholders such as the church, community-based organizations, faith groups, and the likes. And so, not unique to Chibolia, this is something that we do countrywide. Of course, we have programs in Chibolia, we have programs in Bauleni, we have programs in these other places that are designed, one, as I mentioned, to prevent the onset of substance use, and where substance abuse has taken place, we want to delay the progression to the development of mental health disorders, and that is done by way of supplementing the treatment, rehabilitation, resettlement, reintegration, and aftercare support.
Wonderful. Yeah. I want us to talk numbers now. Since 2021 until maybe last year or this year, what would you consider DEC's most significant achievements? And can you give specific measurable outcomes?
We have done quite a lot, cutting across the three approaches that I talked about: the drug demand reduction, the drug supply reduction, and the anti-money laundering approach. Relating to drug supply reduction, you may wish to note that between 2021 and 2024, we recorded a total of 18,243 arrests for drug-related crimes. And that number includes Zambia nationals as well as foreign nationals. In terms of drug seizures for all forms of cannabis, we seized a total of 193 tons during that time frame. Cocaine, we seized 22 kilograms, 22.9 kilograms to be exact. And then we also seized codeine to a tune of 35 kilograms, and also heroin, around 14 kilograms worth of heroin. So these are quantities that are significant when you look at the behavioral characteristics that are manifested by those who consume these substances. And
also, I just want to point out to the people out there that there's no teleprompter here, that Mr. Tamba is putting out these numbers from his head. I am very impressed. Or you may continue, please.
Yeah, then you look at drug use prevention education programs. We implemented a number of activities during the time frame that you've mentioned. I do recall that statistically we conducted around 12,434 drug use prevention education activities that were implemented in institutions of learning, and this is from primary level all the way to tertiary level institutions of learning, and also in the communities we also did a number of activities which are part of the number that I've mentioned, as well as workplaces. That culminated in reaching out to a population of 2,429,979 people.
Wonderful.
And then in terms of counseling, we cancelled a total of 5,473 clients for drug-related, drug use-related
That's between 2021 and 2024.
and 2024.
Okay. There's a public perception out there that DEC operates under directives from the president on who to go and investigate and who to go and arrest. I want to know how you respond to that, and also how can you give examples where you've acted independently?
Earlier on, I did mention that the Drug Enforcement Commission is a creature of the Republican Constitution, and that our mandate is clearly spelled out through the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act and the Prohibition and Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So by law, we are adequately equipped and empowered to discharge our responsibilities, to execute our mandate without having to seek permission after having been given these powers. The law is blind to faces, I must mention, and it is not a respecter of region or territory. And in our execution of our mandate, we follow strictly what the law provides. And we do not wait to be instructed, because our chief executive officer, our director general, has got delegated powers conferred upon him by the law. And it is the law that guides how we execute our institution's mandate. Remember, the criminal justice system comprises a number of institutions. On the one hand, we also have we have the judiciary, we have the National Prosecutions Authority, and the other side we have the law enforcement community. And for every case, you may wish to note that the burden of proof for proving a criminal case is such that you need to prove a case beyond the reasonable doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to do that, you must be as professional, as judicious as possible. The law must be done, and it must not only be done, but it must be seen to be done. And therefore, we have been acting independently, using the delegated powers that we enjoy as conferred upon us as an institution of government by the law.
Wonderful. Mr. Tamba, critics say that DEC targets mostly individuals from the previous administration, while turning a blind eye to those who, in the current government. How do you respond to this?
I note something interesting with your question. You have brought the government into the picture. Of course, we do have a chief government spokesperson who speaks on our behalf as institutions of government. But I'll speak solely as public relations officer from the Drug Enforcement Commission.
Thank you.
Our arrests are followed up with press statements. And in the press statements that we have been issuing, you will see private citizens, civil servants, you see politicians here and there. The law does not choose. And in the way we execute our mandate, we are guided by the law. You may wish to note that it is incumbent upon the reports that we receive that we undertake our investigations. Therefore, for those who may have information pointing to persons in whichever political party, it is important that they come to institutions such as the DEC and any other law enforcement officer institution, make available such manner of information as would help us to carry out our investigations. If you have the evidence that actually there is this and this particular person belonging to such and such a political organization, please feel free to come through to us, and we'll be able to carry out our mandate without looking at which political party somebody belongs to.
Wonderful. There are numbers on the screen that you could use and give us those live calls and talk to a Drug Enforcement Commission Public Relations Officer, Mr. Alan Tamba, who's able to respond to some of your concerns and comments. And those of us who are able to just leave comments on Facebook. Search for Shosta's House Facebook page and leave your comment. We'll be able to go through those comments and read them out. Mr. Tamba, are there any active investigations into individuals serving in the current administration? If yes, can you confirm the nature of these cases without compromising the due process?
You will realize that it would be prejudicial for me to give a commentary on the investigations we are carrying out. But members of the general public may find comfort in the fact that we continue to carry out our investigations in a very professional way, and details of our investigations across their spectrum will be made available to the general public when they fall due.
So my question is, are there any active, like I mentioned, without compromising the due process, are there any active investigations into people that are serving in the current government?
I think that would be prejudicial, Mr. Shosta. You are attaching a government to an investigation. Just
a simple yes, Mr. Tamba. A simple yes or no?
That one is prejudicial.
Really?
To our institution's standing. Yeah.
Okay. There's a line on the screen where you can give us a call, and of course have that conversation with Mr. Tamba. Also, you could send us that message on the Facebook page, Shosta's House. We'll be able to read out those questions and comments. Can you provide a rough figure of total recoveries in cash, assets, and other variables from money laundering and theft cases during the period 2021 and 2024?
I may not give the quantum total as it were, but you may wish to note that sometime last year, running up into this year, we did carry out investigations which resulted in the forfeiture and subsequent remittance to the state of significant amounts of monies. In dollar terms, we recorded over $30.3 million. And now you can imagine where $30.3 million lands. And that $30.3 million is not money that is sitting with an individual. This is money that was remitted to the state for contributing to delivering driving development. And then in Kwacha terms, we remitted over 57.8 million Kwacha. Now that is significant when you look at it in terms of contributing to the treasury and contributing to the actualization of aspirations provided in the 8th National Development Plan.
So this is between 2021 and 2024?
Yeah, this is just part of the significant monies that I've mentioned. There are other monies, but those that I can remember off the top of my mind, the recent amounts that were remitted to the state included those amounts. And that is apart from real estate properties. That is away from farms and livestock and other assets really that were forfeited to the state.
Once these assets are seized by DEC, what systems are in place to ensure they are safeguarded, not misused, and eventually maybe retained or disposed of transparently?
It is important to appreciate that we have an interministerial interagency asset management team at a higher level that presides over the management, administration, and disposal of these assets. So once a law enforcement agency such as the Drug Enforcement Commission records a forfeiture to the state, such manner of forfeiture is surrendered to this higher level asset management team, which includes, among other ministries, the Ministry of Finance. And that technical team then decides, looking at the cross-cutting development needs that we need to consider, they decide and identify priority areas where such manner of assets can be directed in order to ensure that they contribute to the development process. At the end of the day, whatever is recovered should be given back to the people of this great nation by way of supporting the different sectors, the health sector, the education sector.
So there were some monies that were forfeited and they were channeled into education.
Yes, to support, leverage the provision of scholarships to those in need. And that is just a sample of the bigger picture of what we are able to do. Some monies have contributed to the agricultural sector. Some monies have contributed to different sectors of the economy. And it is important to appreciate the role that is played by other institutions of government, because this is not work that is singularly done by the DEC. We have the Zambia Police Service, we have the National Prosecution Authority, among other role players that drive the process of ensuring that we successfully have the forfeitures that we can proudly report on.
If you forfeit items like vehicles, where do they go?
Similarly, they are remitted to this higher level body that identifies priority areas in government, looking at the different ministries, provinces, and spending agencies that drive government's development process. So the committee sits and looks at priority areas and allocates such manner of assets to those priority areas. Remember, at the end of the day, at the higher level, we are guided by the National Development Plan. In this regard, we have the 8th National Development Plan, talking about climate, talking about good governance, talking about promotion of human and social development. So there are different priority areas with well-defined development outcomes. And for us to actualize those development outcomes, we need to continue plowing resources back to where they belong so that we can actualize these aspirations.
In the near future, if you happen to seize items like a helicopter, where do you think they will be taken?
Again, as I mentioned, there is a technical committee that has been identified, and the same committee is empowered by policy, by law, to look at identifying priority areas and allocating the same to those priority areas.
I hear you. There are two numbers on the screen that you could use to give us a call. And of course, if you have any question or contribution directed at the Drug Enforcement Commission through the PRO, Mr. Alan Tamba, you could actually give us that call. And of course, we'll be able to have a conversation with him. How many high-profile drug-related cases are currently pending in the courts, and there's some perception that there are delays? What causes delays?
I may not give you off the top of my mind the cases that are pending currently in court, but what is important is to appreciate the fact that there are so many role players in the criminal justice system. We have the Law Enforcement Commission, the law enforcement community, where we come in as DEC. We have the Prosecutions Authority, and of course we have the court process. And all these different institutions work towards ensuring that justice is delivered in the most professional and judicious way. It is important to appreciate the fact that law enforcement is complex in nature. Intelligence gathering is complex in nature. Investigations are complex in nature. However, all things being equal, we ensure that we deliver justice in the manner that we need to deliver. So I may not give you the statistics off the top of my mind, but I can confidently let you know that the success rate and the rate of completion of these investigations are adequately backed by the law. And we are doing everything possible to ensure that we work within the confines of the law to deliver justice.
Wonderful. How effective has DEC been in working with regional and international law enforcement agencies to trace illicit funds and drug networks across borders?
We have been very, very successful in that regard. Earlier on, I did indicate that the enactment of the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act number 35 of 2021 meant that we also domesticated the single convention on psychotropic substances, the United Nations Convention against illicit traffic in narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances of 1988, and the United Nations Convention against transnational organized crime. Now, what that domestication has done, as far as those conventions is concerned, is that we have opened our gates to furthering, consolidating, and enhancing international and regional cooperation and coordination with law enforcement agencies in other jurisdictions.
Yes.
We are members of regional bodies such as ESAMLAC, the Eastern and Southern African Anti-Money Laundering Group, the Asset Recovery Interagency Institution Network of Southern Africa, and a number of other regional bodies. We do not only collaborate with those institutions, but we also subscribe to provisions that are given to us under the Financial Action Task Force. Now, what that means is that we are obligated to ensure that, one, we promote good governance by ensuring that we investigate economic and financial crimes effectively. Therefore, with international organizations, local and regional bodies, we have established clear lines to facilitate the exchange of best practices, the exchange of information, and the conduct of joint investigations. Just in the recent matter relating to the Malangi case, the famous Malangi case, you may wish to note that the matter involved a number of jurisdictions. We interacted with the government of the Republic of Congo. We interacted with the government of Turkey, the Republic of South Africa, and Zimbabwe in order to crack the passwords that surrounded this very complex case. It wouldn't have been made possible if we didn't domesticate those conventions that I made, and if we didn't enter into some kind of mutual legal assistance arrangements, some treaties with these jurisdictions that I've mentioned. So we are enjoying collaboration and coordination, as well as cooperation with both local, regional, and bodies in that regard.
There are perceptions that certain people would steal money from Zambia and build infrastructure overseas. How sophisticated are we to follow such up and probably retrieve what belongs to Zambians? How ready are we?
No single institution world over can deal with all matters singularly. And this is why we have strengthened our collaboration with local and international law enforcement agencies for the purpose of ensuring that where we do not have our physical presence, our partners are able to extend our leg and reach those points. Where we may not have the technologies that are required, singularly as an institution, through our partnerships, we are able to reach any point without failure. And this is why it is important that members of the public should have confidence in the law enforcement community, because we may not be seen physically as DEC in a particular jurisdiction. That doesn't mean we are not there. We are represented by our stakeholders. And there is no point that is too far for us to reach. So where we may not have the technologies, we have partnered with other organizations that are equipped with these technologies for us to be able to conduct the investigations in the most professional way that we can ever do them.
Also, I think you've just tackled what I wanted to talk about. Producers, there's a caller. Maybe let me pass this to you. Hi there, good afternoon. Hello? Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Ntombi Bota.
Hi, Ntombi. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from within Osaka today.
Okay, great. You may go on and have a conversation with Mr. Tamba.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tamba.
Good afternoon to you too. Thanks.
I wanted to find out. I have a bit of a concern.
Yes,
It's very
please.
funny how DEC, if you find you with marijuana growing in the yard, let's assume I have not planted and it has wildly grown in my yard. You come and pick me up. But if you find, the blame will be on me, you understand? But also, if you find gold in my yard, the government will claim it and you will not. It's nothing. There'll be no blame on me. Am I wrong?
Madam, the law is very clear.
What does the law say? Please, who asked?
The law is very clear. What is important initially when you discover that there is an illegal substance in your yard, the first thing that you need to do is report such manner of illegality to any law enforcement agency that is closest to you. If you are unable to directly get in touch with the Drug Enforcement Commission, find comfort in the fact that we also have the Zambia Police Service dotted around across the country. And you can adequately be assisted by ensuring that that particular drug that is has grown in your yard is uprooted. So kindly get in touch with us. You can call us on 0955684343 so that we come through and uproot that particular drug and have it destroyed in the manner that it is supposed to be destroyed. I may not be a competent authority to speak on God, but I can confidently speak to cannabis that you have brought into the picture.
I see. I understand.
Madam, thank you. Is there another question?
No, I think that's okay. I think it's answered. I think they just need to get this information out there. I think a lot of people don't know, and it's good that obviously we have this platform, and you're able to school some of us. But you need to make the country more aware of this information.
Thank you. Thank you. Have yourself a wonderful day. There are lines on the screen that you could actually use and share your concerns with Drug Enforcement Commission through the public relations, Mr. Tamba, and of course he'll be able to share with you. What specific mechanisms are in place to protect whistleblowers who provide the DEC with sensitive information on powerful individuals?
Again, the law is in place. We have the Whistleblowers Protection Act, the Public Interest Disclosure Act of 2010, which does provide measures to guarantee the safety and security of people that bring information of our interests to us. It is also important for members of the general public to be alive to the fact that as they report illegalities to these law enforcement agencies, themselves need also to protect themselves by not divulging the very fact that they are the ones who reported to these law enforcement agencies. You know, Mr. Shosta, sometimes people get carried away, and when they consume one or two beers, in that state of acting under the influence of alcohol, sometimes they'll go on top of hills and rooftops and announce to the community that they are the ones who actually reported to these law enforcement agencies.
Yes.
So while we are holding our end of the responsibility, it is important that you also observe confidentiality from your end so that together we seal the confidentiality arrangements that go with whistleblower protection.
Has DEC ever investigated its own officers for abuse of power or mishandling of seized assets? I would like to know.
I think that the information relating to law enforcement officers who have been found wanting in one or two matters is out there in the public domain. There have been some officers who have been dismissed in the public, and the information is available in the public domain for members of the general public.
There are times when the information is out there, but maybe sometimes it's people have not come across. So, do you have, in line with the question, are there some officers from DEC, maybe in the past, that have been implicated in that manner?
Not that I can recall. Not that I can recall.
Not that you can remember. Okay. Okay. As we come to a close, is there anything you would like to say to the Zambian people from?
Yeah. What is important is to realize that we only have one nation, and that we need to protect our nation. We need to ensure that we use our resources prudently, and that at the level of drug use prevention, education, counseling, treatment, rehabilitation, resettlement, and aftercare support, members of the general public are free to access us and receive the help that they need. We do not just arrest. We provide that help and support that I've just spelled out.
Yes.
Do not wait until it is too late. Do not wait until you are the late, because substance abuse also kills. Some people have died as a result of driving under the influence of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. Please do not wait until you end up in that space. Access the help that you need. Get the help through the churches, get the help through community-based organizations, get the help through the Drug Enforcement Commission, through health facilities, so that by acting together we can create a nation that is free from drug abuse and also free from the negative effects of money laundering and associated illegalities. For those who may want to reach us, please feel free to call us through 0955 684343, 0955 684343. You can also feel comfortable and confident to walk through our offices. We have a doorless culture. Mr. Shosta, you don't need to knock. You'll find a place without doors. Just walk in, and we'll receive you with a smile, and we'll attend to you in the best possible way that we can.
The number you just gave, you've just given, the public may call to...
they can call to report criminal acts. They can call to seek help if they are having a child who's drug dependent, themselves are having challenges with drug dependence, they are presenting with withdrawal symptoms, headaches, shakes, tremors, running stomachs, whatever the case may be. This is our point of contact for us to be able to provide the remedial measures that are required.
What is the cost to?
It is like any other normal line. It is yet to be.
No, not like the phone. But what is the cost to
the cost of accessing the service? Yes. The services are free of charge. They don't need to pay a fee for them to be attended through in terms of counseling. But when we refer to another institution, then it is possible that our clients might be required to pay some fees from the other institutions that provide these services. But as the DEC, currently we are not charging anything in the course of delivering counseling services to drug-dependent persons. I
saw a message on Facebook that says, why is it that cases for government officials only come in swing when there is a change of government? Only if the government is still in power, no word, even if reports are there. I don't know if this is under your jurisdiction.
I think it is outside my jurisdiction because it is asking the government.
Okay. No, because it's outside your jurisdiction, we're going to exempt you. Mr. Tamba, I'd like to thank you so much for your time and everything you have shared, the lessons that we have learned, that the people have also learned.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shosta, for coming through to the Drug Enforcement Commission. We look forward to having you again, and we hope that somebody out there has been assisted with the information we have provided.
Thank you very much. We've been hosting Mr. Alan Tamba. He is a public relations officer for the Drug Enforcement Commission. As you've heard it for yourselves, they are just not out here to arrest people. They're actually helping out in a lot of ways. He's given a contact that you can call anytime, and they are available to help. As you have said, the doors for DEC are always open. Until next time, this has been Shosta's House.